Welcome back to the 80s here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Mike Rich is the Vice President of Marketing at Revolution Parts, here today to talk to us about a new obsolescence tool that's just been released by Revolution Parts. Mike, welcome back to the 80s.
Hey, Ted. Thanks for having me. Hoping we have a most excellent time. And what better theme to talk about obsolescence than the 80s?
And think back, and we didn't have any of these tools, years ago that we've got now. And you've got so much in place at Revolution Parts. And, I've heard so much talk. Parts has now really become a huge part of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. So I got to start with the basics. Mike, what are you hearing? What are dealers saying about obsolescence?
Yeah, so it's a topic that comes up for us a lot of times with dealers. We talk to, I don't know, probably 10 dealers a day on the phone here. And I'd say 25% of them have an issue with obsolescence. It's either because they special order parts and then they can't return them, or parts get returned to them, then the manufacturer won't take them back, or they just get too much stuff pushed to them and it sits on their shelves, and they just compile this obsolescence. And a lot of times it's kind of stuff, it feels like they just push it into the corner and it just kind of sits there, and the pile of obsolescence just grows and grows and grows. And then next thing you know, a quarter of your warehouse is consumed by obsolete parts, and you're just looking for, someone to push them off to. And most of the time you just write them off and ride into the sunset.
It's the one inventory the dealer actually owns. Now, I've heard, as I mentioned in the opening, that you at Revolution Parts, Mike, you've released a new feature to help dealers to combat this obsolescence. Tell us more about the obsolescence tool.
Yeah, so we have this new tool, Obsolescence Tool or Obsolescence Buster. We're still kind of tweaking the name of it a little bit, but it's a dynamic obsolescence pricing tool. So what you do with this new tool is, with Revolution Parts, we get all of your DMS inventory. We know everything you have in stock. We know the last day you sold something. So you set a rule in the tool and you say, if something has been on my shelf for X amount of time without any sales, or if it's been X amount of time since the last sale, then tag this product as obsolescence, or this part is obsolete. And then we have the set of dynamic pricing rules that say, if a product is tagged obsolete, then set these pricing rules on that product. So what it allows a dealer to do is to have automation behind tagging obsolescence that then pushes custom pricing on those obsolescent parts to really kind of lower the price of them a little bit and make them a little bit more attractive to the consumer who may be looking to buy that part at the end of the day.
Now, I know Revolution Parts doesn't do these things by accident. Give me a little bit of the backstory on this. Has this been in the works for some time? You've been using this with dealers in the recent past?
Yeah, it's been in the works for some time. So we used to do some stuff around using categories in the DMS to identify obsolescence. We still do that today. Like, in this tool, you can say, if it's in this category of my DMS, they consider it obsolete. But it was really kind of a manual process in the past. Dealers would look for a category, and then they would tell us, and then we would manually do this thing, or they would go up and they would manually adjust pricing. So we've had a lot of dealers doing this manual process over the years, and it was really successful for them in terms of selling obsolescence. So we thought last year, probably mid last year, hey, how can we really, automate this for dealers and allow them to get more money off their obsolete parts than they are today?
Wow. Everyone, we're talking to Mike Rich. He's the Vice President of Marketing at Revolution Parts. Mike, how does the obsolescence tool that Revolution Parts has, how does that compare to other methods that dealers use to typically get rid of obsolete inventory?
Yeah, great question, Ted. So I'd say the typical method that dealers use to get rid of obsolete parts is probably an obsolescence broker or parts broker. or CDK, excuse me, CDK or some other solutions are out there where you'll basically put your parts. Someone will come in and will buy all your parts from you
Right.
for pennies on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, 25 cents on the dollar, or you'll put them up on some sort of portal, and other dealers will see the price of those parts and then be able to kind of bid on those parts and then reach out to you and have a phone call with you and negotiate it. So a lot of it is really manual and like working with people. Where the Revolution Parts solution's different is it dynamically does it all for you. So you don't have to manage, what's obsolete. You just have to set your rules to define what's obsolete. And then what we do is we push it to eBay is probably the primary channel. So
Okay.
eBay has the largest kind of network of buyers that are like actively searching for hard to find and obsolete parts. So we push all that inventory over to eBay for you at those with those specific pricing rules to help you sell it there and get premium dollar, for the obsolete parts. And it's something we've seen a lot of dealers have success with. Before we released this tool, it's funny. We've sold a lot of dealers over the years that had obsolete issues. And they would come on the Revolution Parts platform and start selling their obsolete parts. And they would burn through their obsolescence and then they'd be nice and clean. And then they would go and start to find other dealers who had a bunch of obsolescence
Wow.
and buy that obsolescence for pennies on the dollar and then sell it through Revolution Parts to make, a profit. It's really no different than what the brokers do. I mean, when a broker buys obsolete parts from you, it's not out of the kindness of their heart that they're coming to, clear your shelf space. There's money in those parts and they know there's money in those parts and they're, trying to buy them at a low cost and then sell them at a premium. So we're just trying to enable the dealer to get more money for those parts before they ultimately, write them off and sell them to a broker like that.
And Mike, I remember at our last event, the Wild West, I learned that Revolution Parts, you have expertise in eBay far beyond what any typical dealer or dealer group would have. Talk to us about that because most dealers don't have the insights, they don't know the ins and outs the way that you folks do.
Yeah, so we have marketplace experts, eBay experts on our team. So when you work with Revolution Parts, you get access to these marketplace experts, and they help you set up your eBay account. They help you with the pricing. They help you learn how to fulfill properly. One of the cool things about eBay is you can run a promoted listing on eBay. Basically, it's like a paid ad on eBay for your parts, and you
Hmm.
actually don't pay for that promotion unless the part sells. So there's strategies where you can actually bake the cost of the promotion into the part so you pay nothing else and you sell parts. We do that a lot of times for our dealers. And with obsolescence, where you have a lot more room because you're not looking to sell it typically, at costs plus, you're usually going to more cost minus price structure. It
Hmm.
opens a lot of like avenues to be creative in your marketing, and we have a lot of people over here to help you with the marketing if you need the assistance. Just like we have the obsolescence tool, our eBay integration is a great tool too, because it allows you, to instantly list all that inventory. You don't have to sit there and manually, type on your computer part by part and upload picture. You just say, all right, it's tagged obsolescence. Here's the pricing rules. Ship all that stuff to eBay. Start selling it.
And Mike, as part of what you do you help set up that eBay, if you will, storefront
Yep.
for the dealer?
Yep. No, we'll set up the full eBay storefront. We'll get it optimized. We'll help them on the verbiage, the whole 9 yards there, really.
Wow. So do you find a lot of dealers? I mean, I know you mentioned earlier the ones, that sold out on their obsolete inventory and started, looking for other dealers' inventory that they could buy and then resell on Revolution Parts. But are a lot of dealers having success selling their obsolete parts online?
Yeah, a lot of dealers are having success selling their obsolete parts online. We see more and more dealers, use the online channel as a way to sell the obsolescence, and specifically because like the margins aren't as big of a concern, so there's more profit in. A lot of dealers have the kind of thought mind state that any dollar you get for an obsolete part is a positive dollar because you've written it off. So it's a great place to capture the actively engaged buyers that are looking for those obsolete parts you have. And what's great about this tool as well is most of the time when dealers come to us, it's because they have, like I said, a giant pile of obsolete parts in the corner and it's taking up shelf space. This tool is really designed. I mean, you get rid of that giant pile, but it's designed to keep you from getting a pile again. So it's, real time, actively like tagging and managing your inventory for you to make sure that stuff as it goes obsolete, it gets special pricing and it's sold instead of waiting for you to pile up and be like, oh, I got this giant problem. Now what do I do?
And that's so common because once let's say an OEM helps a dealer, as they have in the past, right, with certain obsolete inventories, after a small amount of time, what happens? The dealership goes right back to having a large number of obsolete parts. um, Mike, are there other ways that Revolution Parts can help dealers reduce their obsolescence?
Yeah, I mean, this is really the main one is, tagging it and selling it, on marketplaces. We also can help dealers by putting those parts on their website if they're looking to stand in a website and market direct to consumer. We are working on potentially an obsolete part marketplace or selling channel that combines all dealers' obsolete parts. Think of it like clearanceparts.com. That's something that's kind of in the works in the background that might be rolling out later this year. So that's another place to help dealers get rid of obsolete parts. And we are also, looking at some like B2B type channels where repair shops and other, wholesale buyers might be able to come in and see these obsolete parts as well and see the pricing. So we're trying to grow like the buyer base for all of our dealers and really just take their inventory and expose it at as many places as we can to get them the sales that they need.
What if I'm not a Revolution Parts dealer right now? Maybe I was in the past, I'm not today. Can I come specifically, for this reason, and then you get us on board the platform?
Yep, yeah. So we have three different packages at Revolution Parts. We have one solution that's really just tailored to this pain point of obsolescence. So you would come on and you could sign up for this pain point of obsolescence, and you would get all the tools we have that help you solve, this obsolescence problem.
Wow. Okay, I love it. And it's more than just an eBay store because you help on other platforms as well. I recall that you've been working with dealerships' websites, Amazon. Talk to us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so it's more than just that eBay. Like you mentioned, like we work with the dealer to stand up a website and have the special section for the obsolescence there. We have direct integrations with Amazon. We have a plugin. We have the ability for you as a dealer to give a password credentials to your buyers so they can log into a portal and get pricing rules that you set for them so they don't have to call you to get pricing. They can just log in, shop 24/7, get pricing rules you set for them. So it's really about, digitizing your parts department, streamlining and being more effective and more efficient.
Hard to believe here in 2023, not the 80s. Are there any dealers not online? I imagine there are still quite a few online that are not online, rather, using these tools.
Yeah, there's quite a few that are still not online. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. You can go to a dealership's website, you can click the parts tab at the top, and I'd say probably about 70% ish of dealerships, when you click that parts tab, you're going to get a form that says inquiry about parts. I mean, no one buys anything like that in 2023. Maybe in 1980 you'd complete a form to get someone to call you back, but yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
Everybody, Mike Rich is giving parts a whole lot of love. He's the vice president of marketing at Revolution Parts. Mike, if our audience wants to get on board, I know you do a lot of things to help dealers. You know this marketplace, you know what's happening, you see all the current trends. How do we reach out to you, and how do we get involved?
Yeah, if you need more information, you have questions, I'm always open to talk. You can email me at mrich@revolutionparts.com. You can also just go to our website, revolutionparts.com, complete a form. We'll get back to you. Yeah, but no, it's really obsolescence. It's a big problem for dealers. We really, want to help dealers solve this problem and eliminate this obsolescence. And, get them more money for the parts at the end of the day.
Mike, thank you so much. Mike, I love the hair, by the way.
Hey, thank you. I've been working on it for weeks.
Well, you look great. You fit right in with the 80s, and I tell you, a whole lot happening in parts, more than I've ever seen before. A lot of movement, Mike. I know you're seeing that as well. From your vantage point at Revolution Parts. On behalf of the Fixed Ops Roundtable, Mike, I want to thank you for all you do for the industry. Mike Rich from Revolution Parts here, back at the 80s at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Dad.